So welcome. I am Dr. David Erb. This is my wife, Dr. Kimberly Erb. We're your hosts today. Welcome to your New Beginnings Makeover 2020. Yes, today is going to be an awesome day. So we literally, about every February, do a event like this. Raise your hand if you've been to an event in the beginning of the year like this with us before. We do an event like this. Why would we do it a month into the year? Why wouldn't we do it at the beginning of January? Let me tell you why. Because about 4 to 6 weeks into the year, all of your commitments and resolutions have started to dry up and die. Why is that? Why is it that we can live a life and we can get caught up in the gravitational pull of all the fires that we have to put out every day, and we get towards the end of the year and we know that we need to eat better. We know that we need to exercise more. We know that we finally need to get the weight off. We need to focus on our health. We need to make priorities. And yet we enter the year with all the intentions of that. And then somehow, guess what? The gravity of those decisions, the comfort of the things the way they were, they pull us back into that, and it doesn't happen. And I want to start today with the law of why that occurs. Are you ready? Write this down. It is the law of core versus concept. Core versus concept. And you need to get this. Concept lives in your brain, okay? It lives in your mind. It is influenced easily. It is more shallow. Your friends can influence it. The social pressures can influence it, but it's very influenceable, okay? Got that? Lives in the mind. Your core is deeper. It doesn't live in your mind. It lives in your heart and your gut. It is not very easily influenced. However, you can influence it. It just takes a more deeper aspect, okay? The reason this happens is because oftentimes I will have people who have every intention of coming to an event like this, and guess what happens? Another fire, another issue, another thing. And they all the intention, just like before, to come to this, and it gets snatched away at the last minute, and a lot of those people already have a ticket and they're not here. And as a result, that we get this sometimes. Hey, can you put it on YouTube? Or can you actually do like a Facebook Live? And we do those. If you haven't been on YouTube, guess what? Go. We have 160 free videos. The problem with it is, do you think that you can get a movement in your core watching a Facebook video? It's very, very difficult. That is 100% what? Concept, which is this. Now, it can motivate you. You can get excited about it. But what ends up happening is, invariably, the changes get uphill. The temptations are providential. The going gets hard. And as a result, guess what? You fall back prey again to the old ways of thinking, the old ways of doing things again, and then you usually feel worse. Why? Because you made a promise to yourself on the things that you should be doing, and you're not doing them. And guess what? You've got those from last year and the year before, and you have piles of should, make sure there's a D in there, that you're walking around everywhere, and you're stepping in it with guilt and shame. And you did not come today to leave with more guilt and shame. But I'm here to tell you that today is the day that change is going to happen, because change is important, yes or no? This is where you say amen. So this is where change is important, and there is a law that governs change. There are 3 steps. I'm going to write this down. I want you to write this down. There are 3 steps to change, and there is nothing that is exempt from these 3 steps. Your marriage is not exempt. Your business is not exempt. Your work is not exempt. Your finances, your spiritual relationship with God, everything is applicable. It is not exempt to these 3 laws, and I want you to make sure you write this down. Number 1, okay? Work the system. Work the system. Work what? No. You must still be asleep. Work what? The system. So you're going to work the system. Okay, number 2. Invest the time. Okay? Number 2, invest what? The time. And number 3, you're going to problem solve along the way. You're going to work the system, invest the time, and problem solve along the way. You're going to work the system, you're going to invest the time, and you're going to problem solve along the way. Let me say it again. You're going to work the system, you're going to invest the time, and you're going to problem solve along the way. So say it with me. Number 1, work the system. Number 2, number 3, along the way. Let me give you a hint. If you start having issues, if you start having problems applying and making change in your life, let me tell you, I'm going to give you a hint of what that looks like. All of a sudden, guess what? You resist the system, okay? Then you resent the time, and then you complain about the problems. Raise your hands. Anybody ever feel like that? You did that last time that something didn't work. You resisted the system, which you started out with all intentions to work. You resented the time that you put in, and you complained about the problems, right? You rolled up here in whatever shape that you're in whatever lack of hope that you have, and that's the reason, because nothing is exempt from those 3 things. Which means today, guess what we're going to do? Say it. Problem solve along the way. And let me tell you why it's important. The reason that this is so critically important, everybody look at my face. If you've got one thing, this is why. Because guess what? Sooner or later, everyone sits down to a banquet of consequences. And as a clinician, we can tell you, after tens of thousands of people, that it really goes one of 2 ways. It can be the greatest success of your life, the banquet that you get. You know, you get to see my mom today. I think that her banquet is spectacular, my mom and dad both. And yet you also get to see people in the office oftentimes that is the greatest nightmare that they've ever even heard of. And some people don't even want to live anymore. And I can tell you, God did not bring you here today to lose more hope, but to have a day in your life where you literally had a life before February 8th, 2020, and your life after February 8th, 2020, which is why the name of today is New Beginnings. So this is Kylie and Colton. Now, Colton's grandmother, she's very ill. They just put her in hospice, and they're the family in the area, so they're taking care of grandma right now, so they couldn't be with us today. But they really wanted us to help encourage you guys, because Colton and Kylie just started doing some ketogenic diet stuff that we're going to teach today. He's lost 33 pounds in a couple months. She's lost 25 pounds. And guys, hey, listen, some of us have worn our shirts outside of our pants for way too long. It's time to tuck in again. Got it? Okay? And so it's time to tuck in. And so I was like, dude, that's awesome. That is just great stuff. So these guys did really great, and they really wanted to be here again. But some of their pitfalls, or their things that they found hard and needed to problem solve along the way, are the stuff that we're going to go through today.
Yeah, so we're going to go into some weight loss challenge today. I'll do that actually in a little bit. But I wanted to share with you a couple other testimonies. Rebecca, you just want to wave. I know we're not going to have you come up front, but Rebecca, that is in the back by the product booth. So Rebecca actually started about a month ago. She had a baby, and I know how many of you had babies and you just feel like, man, that weight just never came off, right? And so I'm so proud of Rebecca because she had a baby. She's got a 3-month-old at home, and she started this keto diet thing that we're going to talk about today. And she's already sent me her number. She's already lost 11 pounds and 11 inches. Y'all hear that? So round of applause for Rebecca. Really good job. Super high five. Now, this is my daughter, Zoe. Have you guys been following her at all? Just to kind of, some of you know about her story. She's been tracking a little bit about her story. Mia saying yes. So I want to share with you guys a little bit about what Zoe's been doing. So, and yeah, this is my daughter. So proud of her.
Wait.
Okay, so Zoe, tell them why you decided to do she called it a 5 essential challenge. Tell them why.
Yeah. Well, so for me, as soon as I started driving, obviously no one can relate here with that pretty much, but as soon as I started driving like a year and a half, 2 years ago, I started obviously going out to eat more. And as most of you know, the options out there are not as healthy as the ones in my household. So I started gaining weight, and it was not super evident, like it didn't show up really very fast, and it was over a long period of time until I started noticing it, and then I was like, Mom, I really don't like the way I look. And then I started talking about goals for 2020, and I was like, well, for the month of January, I just think it'd be really cool if I could just do the 5 essentials and do them well for the whole month and see what happens.
So she started measuring. What did you think about the measuring process?
I was very resistant to it at the beginning. I did not want to do that at
Anybody
all.
else resistant to measuring your body where it's at? Huh? Okay. So she started measuring, and she didn't want to, but she did it. Mm-hmm. And then tell us about what was your other goal? You wanted to lose weight, but you had another goal too.
Oh, my skin. My skin was, we were talking about it and been talking about it since I became a teenager, basically. Like, I had this really red, splotchy skin that was just, I thought that there was something like I had eczema or rosacea or whatever, and we've been talking about it for a while, and I was like, Mom, if I do this month and, do it well, and I might take all my vitamins and everything, and if it doesn't work with my skin, then I want to try something that's actually tough in my skin that will actually is not good for me, but will work because I'm sick of it.
So she was willing to just do something bad because she wanted the results, right?
Raise your hand if you've ever been willing to do even stuff you know is not good for you because you're ready for results.
Right? You just want quick results, right? Okay, so we're all in that same process too. We all go through that same thing too. Now you said vitamins. How did you decide what vitamins you needed to take?
Well, I got tested for metabolics. Okay. Raise your hand if you've got tested for metabolics. It works wonders. It really did everything perfectly.
So she didn't have to guess what vitamins she took. She took only what the vitamins were on her scheduled list that she took. And now at the end of 30 days, you just took your measurements Thursday. What did your measurements look like?
I lost 7 inches. How
much weight?
12 pounds.
And how are you feeling about your skin?
So I actually am not wearing any makeup today because I don't have to anymore.
By the way, that is an absolute miracle, just so you're clear, okay?
So, just because there are kids doesn't mean, I love what you said. You talked about how this was something you used to do because it was something you were part of the family to do. Now, what is it for you now?
Well, I think for this month it really taught me about how, there's 5 essentials for a reason. There's not just 3 or 2 or whatever, and it's not about just picking and choosing the ones that are convenient for you or, best work for you or, you have the most time for. Because I make all these excuses, and even living in the household that I live in, I make excuses, and I don't have time to get adjusted, even though I could come home and go in their room and get adjusted if I wanted to.
So just so you know, it never stops, just so we're clear. Even if I lived with you, you still find a reason.
So it was just like I would pick and choose the ones that I thought were, most convenient for me, like taking my vitamins just takes time. Like I have to take pills. I don't want to, It's just doing what doesn't feel good is not the best for you, And this month really taught me that it's not just about doing 2 of them. It's not just doing the ones that you want. It's about doing all 5 and, maximize mine. That was a big part of this month for me because it was like, I didn't want to do this. I didn't want to. But it really taught me discipline and, doing what doesn't feel right when it's good for you. So
good
stuff.
Right,
Everybody give a round of applause.
For Zoe. Good, I love you. Amanda, where are you? Come up here. I need to see all of you. Just come. Yes, all of you need to come.
You didn't even know. Actually, could you maybe leave
Okay,
Curtis?
round of applause for these guys. Yeah, right here.
Curtis used to not be this big. I felt bigger around Curtis before. I feel smaller around Curtis now.
Do you see a difference? I just want to know. Do y'all see? I need a big clap for this. Okay. Okay, so these guys started in the office when?
In August.
Okay. And you started one at a time, both?
No, I started first, and then he quickly...
She talked me into it.
Okay. So that happens, right?
Wait, stop. Raise your hand if you got talked into being here today or being a patient in our office. Raise your hand if you got talked into it. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
Now, let me just say, did you start everything perfectly?
No.
Okay,
I
so
did not.
How did it start for you?
Well, it started I'm so nervous.
Do you remember how we started this process? We talked about this?
Yes, I came in, I was pretty much tired and just in pain, and so they took x-rays and showed me exactly what was going on with my spine and everything. So
What were your symptoms?
fatigue, vertigo. I was just tired all the time. I had zero energy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so how many of you start out and you're like, it's funny, these testimonies, you can't even remember how bad you were before.
I know.
Right? Like, what was really wrong? So now what's going on now? What happened?
Oh, I feel great. I can do yoga, which is something that I've never been able to do. I sleep well. I just have so much more energy.
Now wait, how much weight
And
have
the
you lost?
vertigo is gone.
And
The
tell them
vertigo
about the
is
weight.
gone.
Tell them about the weight. Like, this freaked me out. I only learned this just Thursday.
Oh, I've lost 47 pounds.
47 pounds. I told her before we started, I said, if I put a backpack on you that weighed 47 pounds, you'd punch me in the face.
But
Like,
since
that's awesome.
when? You only started?
In August.
Okay.
Yes.
So just since August, y'all, and she
August
didn't
of
start out doing everything perfect. Now, I want to know, how much weight did you lose to?
I'm 185 now. I was 205, I think.
Okay,
205,
so
210.
so stud and studette, like, look at this right here, right? So
That's
round
awesome.
of applause for these guys. It does work.
Awesome.
Thank you
Give it
guys.
to me.
We love you. Thank you.
You're awesome. Love you. Mwah. All right,
You're next.
I'll take this, yeah. So I want to bring the Hawk family up here. So you guys, come on up here, you guys. Yeah. Yeah, you're killing me, Smalls. So big round of applause for Sherry, Shannon, and Molly. Molly's in the middle. Say hi, Molly. I love her. Mwah. Say hi to everybody.
Hi.
Awesome. So Molly has been a patient for how long? Awesome. Good. And I don't want to like totally get her totally too upset being in front of everybody. So I'm going to have you sit down, baby girl, okay? So you sit down. I'm sending Mom with you just a second, okay? So these guys have been a special place in my heart because when you have innocence like that, does everybody realize that you would like crawl through glass for that? Does it make sense? And so I met these guys. Tell us kind of how you guys got to the office.
Well, we are in a Bible study group, and one of the girls in the Bible study group told me to bring Molly to Dr. David because she was scheduled for back fusion surgery 3 weeks from that moment. And out of desperation, I said, okay, give me his number, and called the very next day, got in, and Molly started seeing him within a week. And within a week after her first treatment, she was dancing. We had been in a wheelchair for a year or two.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And
Now, you went to see a chiropractor.
we had gone to see a chiropractor about 4 years before, because she had started that early, long before that she kept complaining that her legs hurt, back hurt. And he saw her for about, 3 months. And after about 3 months, he just came to me and said, I can keep doing this every week, but it's never going to help her. She's not going to get any better.
And then their medical doctor, and again, nothing against medical doctors, but the only solution he actually gave you was what?
A handicap sticker.
Yeah, right. And so you came to the office, and what was different? What did we do?
Well, first of all, it is just a place of hope, is what it is. You walk in the door, and you know right then that God sent you there, that Dr. David is of God. And she loves to come to you because after the first couple of treatments, she called him her Superman and still does every single week. I got to go see my Superman.
Okay.
And
you didn't tell me you were going to say that.
We love you. And she dances now. She danced last night at the Night to Shine for hours on end.
They sent me a video after the first week with her dancing, and I think I cried for like 30 minutes.
2 hours. She danced for 2 hours after 1 week of treatment.
Yeah. So cool stuff. So these guys didn't actually start in the office right away, but later on, you saw results with her, and you got started. So tell us what was going on with you when you started.
Well, very tired all the time, and I just hurt a lot in my back and my neck. And
you had a history.
I had a brain tumor about 5 years before that I was in remission of after having a brain tumor removed. But I never got well, like 100% well. I was very overweight still. and just on blood pressure medicine, diabetes medicine at one point for a while, and just tired. My thing was I was tired all the time, and sad.
Yeah, so watch this. So they came in it was within weeks of Molly starting, they came to this event, actually was in this room, and they actually felt like a lot of you do right now. So they've tried a bunch of stuff, they've done a lot of stuff, they've had their hope deferred and their heart sickened a little bit. And so you guys are rolling up in a lot of the same areas to some degree that these guys were, and literally came in. And Shannon is a great example. So Shannon, so you guys started applying just the stuff that you guys learned here. First of all, tell us what were the biggest reasons that you guys started applying that stuff?
For us, I think we both have a family history of health issues. Both her mom, her dad, her brother has Parkinson's that he suffers through. My parents, my brother, my mom and brother both had debilitating strokes.
Yeah.
My dad had bypass surgery the year after he retired, and 7 years ago started showing signs of dementia. And so, we didn't want that. We didn't want that for ourselves.
Yeah.
And we were scared.
Yeah, so they come in, they see all this, you start applying it, and then what did you see?
I mean, after we got on the advanced plan and started doing the intermittent fasting and all those things, we, immediately saw results, and...
Okay, stop. How much weight have you lost?
I've lost 54 pounds, and Sherry's lost around 30, I think.
So 30, so they're between 80 and 90 pounds between the two of them. Like that's a child, okay? So it's like, that's massive. So, but it wasn't just, you said something a while ago before we started today, you said it wasn't just the weight for you.
Yeah, I mean, weight is obviously a great, side effect, bonus. I mean, obviously being overweight is unhealthy, but, I think both of us, we were on blood pressure medication that we're now off of. I was taking medication for reflux that I'm off of.
Awesome.
We were, diabetes, pre-diabetes, and now our blood pressure, our blood sugar levels are all great.
Let me ask you this. What is the biggest reason you guys continue to just keep applying that stuff?
We feel so much better.
All right. Give them a round of applause, the Hawk family, you guys. It's awesome. You guys are so great. Thank you. All right. So I want to say this. Some of you guys have been waiting for this one, but if you would, come here. This is my mother, mating Erb. This is the matriarch of today, by the way. You coming up? Good, yeah. Good. So
You're telling me what to do.
I'm not telling you what to do. All of a sudden, I haven't been nervous until she stood up on stage with me. I don't even know what to say right now. So raise your hand if you've actually tried to give your parents health advice. You're laughing because you've tried to give your parents health advice. So anyway, there was a date that we talked about. So what was the date?
June 26, 2011.
Yeah, so that date is very infamous. She knows exactly the date. And the reason is, so why is that date important?
Well, for one thing, you started giving me advice.
That's not the way we practice this, Mom.
So, but...
I was beginning to have really problems with arthritis in my hands. And
where at in your hands? Anybody have that exact spot, right? Yeah, so, yeah.
And my doctor...
and your knee.
And my knee.
Yeah.
And my doctor suggested that I could go on some medication.
Yeah, didn't want to do that.
And I don't do that. I mean, I'm pretty much... I just don't take any medications.
You said you needed to lose some weight.
And, well, actually, I wanted to lose that weight.
Yeah.
And I ran a 5K, you won't remember that, with you and Julie, and you beat me. And
She's competitive. I have no idea where I get it.
So that date means something. What does that date represent?
it represents a commitment I made to not drink any more Coke, even
Because she
though...
really liked Cokes. Can we be transparent? It's a safe room. Does anybody else in the room really like sodas? Really like?
Not
I'm a pastor in the past. So you guys, does anybody in this room really like sodas? I know.
Well, the thing is, though, that he suggested to me that I try to get sugar out of my diet. And so I'm a teacher. And part of my release of that stress was to have a Coke. 2 or 3 times, 4 times a day. So I was in New York, walking down the street, talking to him, and I made a commitment to myself. Okay, I'm going to try this.
Wait, I sent her a picture of a Coke
yes.
in the shape of a pistol. I was like, just so you know, it's deadly. Just so you know.
And he said, keep this, and every time you start to order a Coke, look at that picture.
We looked at the picture last night, by the way.
Yeah.
So what started happening? Well, immediately what started happening?
Well, I called him in about 2 to 3 weeks because he'd also told me to lay off the carbs, especially breads. I called him and I said, David, I think I've lost 10 pounds.
She was scared because I may have cancer. I don't even know. And I was like, Mom, no, that's what happens. You start losing weight.
I'm so non-medical, and I was so heavy
Yeah.
on real Coke.
Right. So what happened to arthritis?
Well, the arthritis let up, and still, as long as I'm off major sugar.
Okay, let up is one thing. She had a workout the other day at this CrossFit type of gym. She did 80 burpees, right? So it's like.
Yeah, you got to have your thumbs.
Yeah, so the other thing that she did is I called her just to I wasn't calling her to check on her, I was just because I like to talk to my mom. And I go, hey, Mom, what's going on? And she goes, oh, I just finished a race. How long was the race?
Well, actually, it was 12 miles, but it was a trail run in the mountains at Greenleaf Lake.
And then, wait, it was a 12-mile run, but you didn't run 12 miles. How far
Well,
did you go?
we didn't want to wait on the bus, so my friend and I, who's like 12, 14 years older than me, we decided instead of waiting on the bus, we'd just go ahead and run up the mountain. So
3 miles, 3 extra miles after
we
12.
ended up doing 15.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you don't believe me, you can still see a bit of mud on my shoes.
She's still got the shoes. So the biggest question that I want you guys to hear the answer to is, how have you kept this up over almost a decade now?
I think the most beautiful part of it is the decision I made when I went off of Coca-Colas was just part of it, but my commitment to making one change at a time, and I wanted my life to be better. As I aged, I wanted to be able to do half marathons and 5Ks, and I wanted to be able to handle my grandchildren and keep up with my kids.
Have you done it perfect?
No, I haven't done it perfect.
I almost wanted her to say yes to that, but it's not.
This is a confession. I love croissants.
Yeah. I absolve you from your sins. I don't know. Sorry. So here's the thing. Everybody needs to know this. If you guys aren't eating breads and you're not drinking Cokes, is that kind of an uncommon way to live? Yeah, so watch this. If you want the uncommon, you have to live the uncommon. Got it? So if you keep doing the things that you've always done, you'll keep getting the things that you've always gotten. And so we want to make sure that we change that. So big round of applause for my mom, everybody. Good.
I did a marathon.
Yes, you did a marathon too.
Yeah.
I love it. It's awesome. Okay, so let's get this party started. You guys ready? All right, let's do this. So let's start here. Where are you going to be if you keep doing the things that you've been doing? So I want you to, everybody hear me now. We're going to do some mindset stuff. I want you to see your face at the end of this year, the very end of this year, if you didn't do anything different. What's your face look like? Fatter? Okay. How about this? More tired? Frustrated? Less hope? Right? Nobody wants that, right? Now watch this. If you continue that direction, which is, there's never a static, you're either getting better or worse. I want you to see yourself in 5 years. Yeah, maybe under the ground for some. I hate to go all the way that way. But go out to 10 years. Now just play with me a little bit. This is a very easy, watch this. Raise your hand if you can remember 10 years ago, like something that happened. Like for me, 10 years ago is not that long ago. Like I can remember 10 years ago and go, man, what happened? I saw my kids this morning getting ready, and Zanae will be 10 this year. And I was remembering life just with 2 kids going, man, how did we get here? Guys, 10 years is like this. And if you don't start doing something different, so watch this. Here's the real question though. What actually do you want to be? Who do you really want to be? What do you really want that face to look like in a year from now? And are you willing to do something different? And here's the thing. The only way that you do that is if you start figuring out the path to get there. Because what? We've all had failed resolutions, failed commitments. And let me be very clear that if you commit to something and then you fail, guess what? Hope deferred makes a heart what? And again, some of you guys need some heart repair today. And that's why there's testimonies lidden throughout this whole day. There's testimonies to help repair that heart, to help you believe again, to help you start getting hope again. Got it? And so this is a hard thing. Also, after today, this is a 1-month deal. And throughout this, there's going to be constant connectivity. There's going to be events that you can come to so that we're doing what? Working on what? The heart, which is the core. Got it? Which will get this into the core, okay? But we have to start somewhere, okay? There's 4 problems. First of all, we lose hope. And as soon as you start to lose hope, what happens to motivation? Starts to ratchet back a little bit. And then it takes less to keep you moving forward. It takes less to stop you in your tracks. It takes less social pressure, which is the next one, to really put you down. And that's really a huge part of that. Some of you guys don't want to believe it, but when you get to the water cooler on Monday and someone bought a dozen Krispy Kremes and left them out for free because they want to bless everybody, you're not going to feel very blessed, okay? And so social pressures are real things. And then we also want immediate results. And I want you to write this down. Immediate results equal long-term result death. Immediate results equal long-term result death. Now, not immediate death, but it actually injures it. And the more that you try to get immediate results, the closer you get to losing your future that you want altogether, right? So first of all, who's your worst critic? Yourself. You are if you talk to others like you talk to yourself, you'd not have a friend in the world. You emotionally black your own eyes every day, probably when you look in the mirror. So first of all, we're going to be easy on ourselves. We're going to have some grace. Everybody say grace. Right? So we're going to have some grace, but we're going to hold to these patterns. And what's the first one? We're going to do what? Say it. We're going to work the system. Work the system. We're going to do what? And we're going to... Exactly. Okay, now, where do we start? Very simple. We start here. Now, as soon as I say goals, if I'd have said that we're going to have some goal setting today, half of you guys would have went, well, I'm really busy on Saturday. I don't even know if I can get there. I want to come. I really do. Something about setting goals has now become some kind of taboo, negative thing in our society. I will be completely transparent. When I got together with this wonderful woman, she has set goals since she was like 3. She writes things down. She has check mark boxes, and she does all this stuff naturally. And when the first time she had to try to get me to set goals, I said, I don't like setting goals because if I don't make them, I just get disappointed. Can I get a raise of hand? Anybody ever feel like that? Here's the thing. If you set goals and you start achieving them, the energy and motivation that you get to continue on in your life is so much more powerful than the negative that you experience if you don't reach the goal. But your perspective on that is where it starts. Does that make sense? So what ends up happening is you get more motivation, and then your self-worth gets better, your self-identity gets better, and then you start becoming the person that you want to be. And I'm going to say this later, but I'm going to say it right now again so it bears repeating. The goal is not the goal. The goal is who you become as you are reaching and striving and problem solving along the way. The person you become reaching for the goal is actually the goal. Got it? Make sense? That is a very important point. So we're going to set some goals today. And what we're going to do is, I want everybody to get this yellow piece of paper out. I want you to wave it at me. I want to make sure every single person has this. Every single person is going to leave today, and you're going to have this filled out. It's in your bag. Whether you're a guest or you're a family member at one of the offices, one of the practices, you're going to have this. So everybody get this out. Good? Wave your hand at me if you don't have one. You don't have one? So I got a couple here that don't. Whoever didn't get a bag? Yep. Good. Just kind of keep your hand kind of waving a little bit, not all the way up. I don't have to fix a shoulder later. Good. Excellent. Good. So 3 right here. The team's making note. You got that? Good. Excellent. Okay, so they're going to bring those around. Now, what you're going to do today, the way this is going to work is we're going to set goals that are SMART goals. And we're going to set SMART goals in the 5 essentials. And they're going to look literally in each of these areas. Okay? Very, very simple. And they're going to be specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. And I'm not going to go through what that means, but I will say this. To get that exactly the way that it should be, it's not as easy as you think. Like you think, oh, no, I just write that. No. You have to write it to where, number 1, it's specific. Number 2, that it is measurable. And so it means you have to be able to measure something. You can't say, well, I'm just going to feel better about myself. How do I measure that? right? You have to have some measurements. You measure what matters, okay? Attainable means that I'm not going to try and lose 50 pounds in the next 5 days. Got it? And so we're not going to set goals like that. Now, we're also not going to set goals that I'm going to lose a half a pound this month. Got it? And so we're going to set up that are attainable, okay? Relevant. Everybody, I want you to circle the word relevant on this piece of paper. Circle the word relevant. And I want you to write next to that, why. That means this is why you're going to do this. And just so we're clear, the why is the most important part. If you want it bad enough, you'll figure out, you'll problem solve, you'll do whatever it takes to get there. Got it? So as we go through today, I want you guys to actually be filling this out. And at the end of each section, so when I hit the chiropractic section, at the end, we're going to give you 1 minute or so with some music playing, and you're going to write quickly. Write how? Quickly. Now look at me, everybody right now, look at my face. You have to trust me. You are not allowed to leave without that filled out. I'm this close to standing at one door and only allowing people out one door, and actually only allowing you out if it's filled out. If you start your car and that thing is not filled out, I pray that your car doesn't start. How about that? In Jesus' name, I curse all the batteries. No, I'm just kidding. But that's where that starts. Got it? Very simple. And so this piece of paper is literally how this starts today. So I'm going to turn this over to Dr. Kimberly. She's going to go into all of the specifics on nutrition. And I can tell you, a lot of you guys just showed up for this nutrition portion today. And I will say this, the reason that the Bible talks about nutrition nonstop, I mean, it started with Adam and Eve in a garden and the forbidden fruit, but all the way through, the Israelites and whatever. The reason it's so prevalent is because the temptations in our lives start with simple things like food. And simple things added up collectively over time make very big problems. And so some of the greatest results you're ever going to have in your life is when you finally get this one thing by the neck and get it under control again. And stop having emotions. Having emotions leads you by the nose. Got it? So we're going to get this thing together.
Thank you.
You're awesome.
Aw. My pink lipstick. All right, guys, you ready to get started? Okay, so we're going to bring around a little lovely taste of some juice here in a second and some little handouts. And I want you to keep this handout that you get, keep it right next to you as the team comes along the side here to actually give you your juice. Just keep your handout handy because we're actually going to go through that. So, and you're welcome because this is from our friend Rejuve. Where is our Rejuve table? Yay! Okay, you're going to want to visit those guys afterwards. And Dr. Chris, too. He's very happy. You're so funny. Okay, so how many of you know that what you eat affects how you function? So if you were to eat Whataburger, I'm using Whataburger because my daughter talked about Whataburger. Okay. So if you ate Whataburger twice a day for the next 7 days, how well would you function? Someone says sluggish, someone says not very well. Anything else? Anything else? But if you ate the foods that you see up on the screen, even if you say, quote, I don't like vegetables, how well would you function? Do you think you might have better energy? Do you think you might feel a little more clear-headed? Yeah? So what you eat affects how you function. If you don't like how you're functioning, that's going to be one of the things that we really want to tap into to make it something not core, but something not concept, but more a core, something that's at your heart level in your gut, right? Some of you really want to start out by making small changes. I'll say, Amanda, if this would be a fair assessment, making small changes could start with just, and even Maydeen could start with just like not drinking soda, but now drinking water. Just that small change could make a dramatic difference. So that's a small change. How about your salad dressing? That's a small change, right? You could change the salad dressing. So maybe you might say, I'm eating salads, but a small change could be that you go from the ranch dressing and maybe you put olive oil on it. Okay? Those are small changes that you could be making. So we're looking at also, you drink tea or coffee, and many of you put sugar in your tea or coffee. Another small change could be that you switch to stevia or Swerve, which is erythritol. You switch to something like xylitol instead of the normal sugar, okay? Does that feel a little more doable? That may be the place that you start, okay? Because we're going to hit a lot of things today, and I want to make sure that you actually feel empowered when you leave today with some of those small things that you do. For those of you who are looking for making small changes, this product might be perfect for you. This is a brand new product. The Max Living came out today is the first day we had it. Excited about that. This product is for those of you who hate getting all your vitamins out, you're overwhelmed by trying to what choices to make, and you just want it to be simple. What you'll do, men's or women's, you take the little packet, throw it in your purse when you eat lunch, you got your vitamins all done. You don't have to think about it. Now what's in this, again, small changes. What's in the packet is 5 vitamins. So you got your vitamin D, you got your multivitamin, you got your fish oil, your optimal omega fish oil, you got your magnesium glycinate, and you also have your B complex. So literally it makes things easy. Now here's what I think this is really good for. For those of you who are just needing to make small changes, you're overwhelmed by a lot of the stuff. Grab this. This is just your daily, everyday, what you take. For those of you who have college students that you know they're going to be eating crap. I'm just going to say it like that. They're going to eat, right, at school? How many college students eat good? Does anybody know any? Right? So when you know your college students are going off to school, send this to them every month. Because at least you know they're going to get something good in their body, okay? This is good for that. For those of you, just pop that in your purse, another good way. Now, I'm just going to let you know, I'm sorry, ahead of time, we only have 12. So if this is something that you want, you're going to want to make sure you put this on your product order form. We only have 12 today. You can go ahead and order. If we run out, we'll have it in a week. But if this is something that you want, make sure you put that on your product order form. Okay, good? Daily essentials for men or women. So let's talk weight loss. Has everybody had their juice sample? Not yet? Okay, so we're working on our juice samples. Does it taste good? Yeah? Good? Okay, give you a little shot so that you can kind of get your brain, keep your brain engaged. Now I want you guys to pull out your sheet. Does everybody have this sheet? Okay? So one of the stats that was really, really, really scary to me when I started this, okay, was that 30% of people, if you have a BMI 5 points out of range, 30% increase in death from any disease. You guys hear me? Okay, I'm going to say it again. So when you look at your numbers on here, a 5-point increase in BMI out of range, the research says that there is a 30% increase in death from any disease. That's kind of scary, yeah? So when I went through this, I went, okay, that's the reason why we have to target weight, because if we handle the weight issue, we're going to handle so many other disease-related issues, so many other causes for why we're taking medications, okay? So I want you to take this sheet. I want everybody to look at your height and your weight and just circle on the chart where your BMI is and then fill it in, write it in, my BMI. Because for us to set some goals today, we kind of need to know where we're at, yes? Okay. See you all looking down, good. So the next thing we're going to do You guys feeling good about that? You got it? Shake your head. Give me a yes if you got it. Good? You still thinking? Need some time? No? Okay, we're good. The next section on the sheet is your weight calculator. Okay? So the weight calculator, I'll walk you through the weight calculator, the bottom part. So put in male or female, write in your height with feet and inches. I'll walk you through. And then weight, put your weight down. The current weight, where you're at right now. To figure out what your ideal weight is, which is going to be on the bottom right, you want to follow the formula. So for men, you'll start out at 110 pounds at 5 feet and add 5 pounds for every inch over 5 feet. Okay? So if you're 5'8" and you're a male, you start out at 110. You got 8 inches over 5 feet. 8 times 5 is 40, 150 pounds. Just write it in. These are just kind of numbers to give us a guideline and guardrail. The BMI is one measurement. We're going to talk to you about some other measurements here in a minute. Did everybody get their juice? Yes? Good? Good. Okay. So Rejuve is going to be in the back. This is an awesome green juice to give you a boost of all the good stuff, all the superfoods. And you're going to want to make sure you talk to them in the back because this is going to be one of the very best places where you're going to be able to get good juice and put good nutrients in your body. Is everybody good with your knowing your numbers, okay? Now don't be mad at me. Don't get mad, okay? Don't get mad. We're going to do what now? Say it. And we're going to, and then, okay, we're problem solving in a minute, okay? Hang on. Hang in there. Just write your numbers down. Yes. Yep. Good. Okay, so we're good. We got our numbers. Everybody knows where you're at as far as your numbers are concerned. And I tried to make you like me by giving you a little juice. Did it help? Because I knew some people were going to be really mad. Okay? All right, good. We're good. Now let's talk about the hormones, okay, and how your hormones can help you become a fat-burning machine, or your hormones can work against you and load the fat on your body, okay? How many of us want to be fat-burning machines, right? Okay, that's what we're going to walk through. So the first hormone that most of us are super, we know a lot more about would be insulin. And insulin is known as the fat hormone. So everybody say this, fat hormone. Fat hormone. So that means, right, the more insulin that you have to consume or take through a medication or injections is going to make you skinny or make you fat. It's helping put on weight, right? So that's not something that we want. Now, I know a lot of people come in here and they have been told outside of here that once you're type 2 diabetic, like you're always going to be diabetic. But what you'll find is that through the testimonies and talking to other people around and hearing some of the things that you hear in our office, that's not the case. You can actually reverse this by some of the things that we're talking about today. So just hang in there and we'll walk you through that. Ghrelin. Ghrelin is called your hunger hormone. Everybody say hunger. Okay, so ghrelin is your hunger hormone. I'm going to show you how to help reset these hormones so that you don't feel like you want to eat your whole refrigerator all in one setting, okay? I'm going to show you how to reset that. Leptin, that's your satiety hormone. That's the hormone that your body actually tells your brain burn fat for energy, okay? We want this leptin hormone to be good and functioning the way that it should so that it actually tells your brain, hey, we need that, burn that fat for energy. We want this to be intact, okay? Cortisol. Cortisol, the best way to describe that one, that's if you're completely stressed out all the time, you're living with a tiger in your bedroom every day. How many of you are living with a tiger? I don't care if the tiger is, a relationship or if it's stress from work or if it's beating your own self up with your, negative self-talk, whatever the tiger is. Some of you have tigers in your room that's creating a lot of cortisol. That cortisol is doing the exact opposite of what you want it to do in this case. All it's going to do is make you gain weight right around the middle. So if you guys are wondering, why is all this, belly fat, these big love handles on there? We got to handle the cortisol issue, okay? So cortisol is going to be a huge important hormone. Human growth hormone, another very important, powerful hormone. It increases muscle mass, bone density, yay, women, yeah, bone density, and decreases body fat. So we want to boost this particular hormone, human growth hormone, and we'll walk you through a couple of the very important specific things you can do to do that. The last one is estrogen. We need the right amount of estrogen, not the wrong amount of estrogen, right? Estrogen, when it's increased, makes fat and shuts down. It just shuts down the fat-burning hormones. So we don't want to shut that down. We want it to be in the right proportion. The other danger is that there are a lot of toxins out there, which I'll get through after the end of the break, that actually are xenoestrogens. So everybody say xenoestrogen. Xeno, X-E-N-O, xenoestrogens. It's not a real estrogen. It's a fake estrogen. And your body actually is confused when it experiences all these toxins and it surges your own estrogen levels and you store fat. So we want to make sure we understand all the ways in which we can identify how to become a fat melting machine using our hormones to work in our favor and how we can actually reset them. So those are the tools that we're going to unpack today. You think this is an epidemic? Is it? So my husband and I have been doing a talk. We've been doing weight loss for about 16 years now. And we do a talk where we show the statistics of in the 90s, 98, 99, 2000, 2001. And the stats have gone completely crazy. We're actually now at a 40% obesity. 40%. So it's almost kind of like every other person is obese. So can you see why this topic is so important for us to get healthy? We've got to have a handle on this particular topic because it's really destroying people's lives. You want to lose weight, but how? This is where we're going to have to buckle up. We're going to walk through some things, and I'm going to give you the hows behind it. I'm going to walk through a couple different eating plans. We're going to figure out which one's right for us. We're going to commit today. We're going to put it on our SMART goal sheet, and we're going to actually, like we said, what Dr. David said, we're going to do what? We're going to what? That's what we're going to do, okay? So as I go through these 3 different eating plans today, we're going to decide on one of them right now, okay? So if you look through this list is a fantastic indicator of which plan you need to follow, whether you want to or not, right? Whether, like Zoe said, I don't feel like it, I didn't want to, right? Whether you're mad at me because you don't like the numbers, whether you feel like you don't want to get up out of bed. This is a fantastic list to really give us a solid understanding of which plan we should follow. And then really what we want to do is somebody give me a plan, which I'm going to give you today, so that we can actually walk this out. So if you're a person who has high triglycerides, high cholesterol, high blood sugar, high blood pressure, low blood sugar, and high insulin, then you need to follow this particular plan. And we're going to decide between advanced plan or the keto plan, which I'll tell you the difference between the two, okay? So how many of you right now already know which plan you need to follow? Okay. High leptin toxicity, inflammatory disease, which could be a ton of different things, right? Inflammatory disease, allergies, and arthritis. Anybody else? No? Which one should we follow? Anybody else feel like they know now? Okay, a little more. Autism, spectrum disorders, cancer, chronic fatigue. And let me just go back to cancer for a second. So with cancer, what food makes a lot of cancer cells? So if sugar makes a lot of cancer cells, then what we really want to know is what are the foods that turn to sugar, right? So that we don't make a lot of cancer cells, right? If you have ever had cancer or you currently have cancer, then this is going to be a forever plan so that you can not keep making more cancer cells. Does that make sense? Okay. Chronic fatigue, I heard that a lot today, a lot of energy things, right? So chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, heart disease, that means any diagnosis in the heart disease realm, right? So it could be a blood disorder, okay? Could be stroke. I've got a few blood disorders that have just walked into the office recently where they throw clots all the time. I have a whole string of family that came in and they all throw blood clots, so that would fall into the heart disease realm. Digestive dysfunction. So if you are a person that has constantly running back and forth to the toilet, constipation, diarrhea, you can't control it, you have to hurry. I just talked to a patient just yesterday that says, when I eat, I have to be within 30 seconds of a toilet. That's pretty scary, right? Now, are we absorbing our nutrients when we have to get to the toilet that quick? No, so there may be a leaky gut issue. Maybe there's Crohn's. Maybe there's irritable bowel. Maybe there's celiac, right? There's a ton of different digestive disorders. So if you're in that and you know that there's an issue there, this would be the 1 or 2 plans that we're going to choose for you. Genetically intolerant to grains, so having trouble with grains, ADD and ADHD. Mental and emotional disorders. So if you know you're just that person that's super, or people, let's just say it like this. People around you tell you that you're that person, right? Right? Your loved one tells you you're that person, dang, you're cranky. You're really moody. Ooh, it's hard to be around you. Right? Give you that feedback. If you're that person that people don't really want to hang out much with because you're kind of a Debbie Downer, the name is Debbie in our house. I don't know. There's somebody in our house named Debbie, and if the kids use the word Debbie, they all know who's in the house. My daughter will go, Debbie's here. Babe, I love you. I had to throw you under the bus. It's super fun. Mental and emotional disorders and medications. So if you are currently taking a medication, then this would be a plan that you would want to follow to win the possibility of potentially getting off of it or eliminating most of them. And I say that because that's a reality in our office. The majority of our patients, when they follow the 5 essentials and the things that we teach, the body heals and they naturally are able to work with their doctor and they just get off their medications. Things balance out. I see a lot of shaking heads. Right? That happens. Yay, awesome. Okay, now I want to know by show of hands, how many of us know we need to follow this plan? I mean, even if you don't want to, raise your hand. Even if you don't even know what the heck it is, raise your hand. All right, good. So we know, right? We're going to unpack the 2 different plans. If you didn't raise your hand because you didn't have any of those things on there, truly, like you're being honest, then this would be a plan that would be for you, okay? And it's called the core plan. Everybody say core plan. Okay, it's called the core plan. So my little one, like Zanae, she would be on what we would call the core plan. We don't have anything on the list, and she does really well following things like this on the core plan. So a couple of things on the list would be healthy fats, no damaged fat. So that means not cooking with canola oil, right? That means, what else is a damaged fat? Vegetable oil. What else? Crisco, margarine, corn oil, lard. So these are all like your damaged fats. What about fried food that's fried with the wrong, like French fries, things like that, right? Those are all damaged fats. So we want to stay away from those. We want to have naturally raised animal proteins. And for this particular plan, you can actually have whole grains and ancient grains. Now, we have them in our book. We have a book in the back called Align Your Health. So if you want to know like what all of those are, there's like a list of like 12 of the ancient grains that you can have, okay? So this is only for those people who were honest about not raising their hand, okay? And then a variety of fruits and vegetables, okay? So we, in our house, Zanae will have Ezekiel bread, for example. So that's something that she would have on the core plan. Is everybody good with that? Okay, so if that's you, then this would be the plan that you would need to follow. The next one is the advanced plan. So advanced plan, the biggest difference in that, we're still sticking with the healthy fats. We're still sticking with no damaged fats. We're still sticking with naturally raised animal proteins. What does naturally raised animal proteins mean? Anybody know? Grass-fed. Does it mean grain finished? So pay attention to those words. You just want to make sure the animal is not eating grain, okay? So it's grass, right? Good stuff, because a lot of that grain is just making the animal fatter, and then when we eat it, it just makes us fatter and have heart disease and things like that. So you just want to be careful of that. The fruits that we eat on the advanced plan are the low glycemic fruits, and we really do this in very small amounts, okay? Small amounts. We're not going to eat fruit all day, but if you think about whenever you've eaten fruit, if you've eaten a watermelon, do you just eat one slice? Like, don't you just want to like eat one after another after another? Because the sweetness of it, it's a high sugar fruit. But if you eat like a green apple, do you just want to keep eating green apples? Nope. Right? You're like, oh, I'm eating this because it's the only one I can have. Right. But the green apple is a low glycemic fruit. That's the reason why it's on the advanced plan. So the other low glycemic fruits are any berries, okay? Not cherries. I know. Oh no, say it isn't so. No cherries. So berries, Granny Smith apples, and grapefruit. Those will be your fruits that you can have. Again, they're in small portions, okay? And then I want to hit the top one that's going to make everybody the most upset. Because Maydeen says she loves her croissants, right? But no grains, right? No grains. Not just gluten-free, but no grains. Okay? I hear the term like, but I'm gluten-free. All that means is you're eating a lot of sugar. Okay? So if you're following the advanced plan, don't look at terms like gluten-free. It needs to be no grain. Okay? So you can have things like if we just talk about bread, there are breads out there that are made of almond flour. Almond is a nut. Okay, so there are breads like that. There's some new products out that are made with cassava flour. Cassava is a low glycemic. There are coconut-based things. Coconut's a nut. You can have that. So you want to stay away from the white breads, the white rice, the bagels. I'm so sorry, the croissants. Right? Because those things quickly may raise your blood sugar, okay? So we want to stay away from those things. Everybody get a good handle on that? Yeah? Okay. Now I want to touch on this. What is intermittent fasting? Who's done intermittent fasting? Okay, that's good. Maybe like 20% of us. Okay, intermittent fasting. It's not a diet, y'all. It's not a diet. It's just a pattern of how you eat. One thing that is phenomenal about that pattern is that if you do it correctly, and you have a list of those things that I said, indications you may need this plan, a list of any diagnosis on that list, and you have trashed your hormones because of, the way you've eaten for a while, this is one of the best ways to reset your hormones. So we hit leptin, right? It tells your brain burn fat for energy. We hit ghrelin, that's your hunger hormone. We hit cortisol. We hit human growth hormone, right? We hit all of these hormones, and these hormones, insulin, these particular hormones, they actually will reset when you follow something like the intermittent fasting. So what is the pattern? The best and most popular pattern of intermittent fasting is to choose a time frame where you eat all of your food. The most popular is going to be 8 hours. Okay, that's the most popular. So you would choose an 8-hour time frame where you eat all 3 of your meals and all your snacks. Okay? So a very popular time frame is 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. That's a popular one. I'm going to say 7 p.m. works if you go to bed 3 hours later, because you really want to make sure you're done eating 3 hours before bed. Okay? When you go to bed and you have a belly full of food, the thing that speeds up at night is your nerve system. And if you have a belly full of food, then all the blood's in your gut and it's not allowing the nerve system to heal and do what it's supposed to do. This is the reason why a lot of us wake up with heartburn, right? We feel really nasty when we wake, like a lot of gas and heartburn and things, when you go to bed too late at night with food on your belly, okay? So going back to intermittent fasting, the pattern is an 8-hour time frame. So 11 to 7 seems to be a really popular time frame where you can eat dinner with your family, you can eat lunch, and then what you would do for breakfast is you would just basically, if you want coffee, you can have coffee. If you want fluids, you can have those fluids, but the coffee cannot have cream or coconut in it. Why? Because it's fat and it breaks your fast. You with me? Can't put butter in there either. So if you want your coffee, you can have it at 11 with butter in it, with coconut in it, with whatever. Watch the creamers, because a lot of them are bad, so you just got to watch those. But if that's your window, 11 to 7, if that's a good time frame for you, this pattern is one of the best ways for you to be able to help reset those hormones that we just talked about a second ago, okay? One thing I also have on there is the Keto Advanced Plan and maximizing the results with HIIT, okay? Everybody know what HIIT is? Okay? High intensity. So high intensity, short duration type of exercise is one of the best ways for you to be able to boost your human growth hormone, which will then boost your lean muscle mass. Which you have a lot of lean muscle mass on you, it actually speeds your metabolism up so that you don't have to do so much work, and you can burn that fat with you just hanging out without having to do so much work, okay? So we want our body to be efficient. That's one of the best ways that we can do it. I'm going to get into the percentages here in just a second. Is everybody good with intermittent fasting? Everybody good? Okay. All right, so what is keto? So I want to dispel some of the things that are out there regarding keto. I hear a lot of people using the terms, I'm going keto, or I do the keto diet. And inevitably, there's a mixture of things going on, which we're going to talk about regarding keto. But the big picture, kind of from a high-level standpoint on keto that's out there, is the focus is on your macros. And that means your protein, your carbs, and your fats. That's really the focus. Any of the apps and things that you see out there, the main focus is going to be on watching your percentages of your fat, your carbs, and your proteins. And the key thing that you're going to hear a lot of is the term net carbs. Everybody say net carbs. Net carbs. So the percentages will look a little like this, okay? And I'm going to walk you through a little bit more about it, but I'm just saying, just for this slide purpose, just for you to understand the percentages. That means in the course of one day, for you to be, quote, keto, this is the percentage of what your plate looks like for every meal. Is everybody with me? Okay. Now, how does it work? And let me before I get into how does it work, I just want to hit the benefits, a little bit of it. If we do keto and advanced plan, if we do this the right way, then what you'll see is a reduced cancer risk. In fact, when we have cancer patients, we always tell them to follow advanced plan, this keto advanced type plan, okay? Weight loss is a big benefit. That's the reason why most people are doing it now. When they say I'm going keto is the big weight loss thing, right? Heart health, skin improvements, cognition and memory. This is important for people who have epilepsy, memory memory challenges, this particular eating plan is very, very good for that, right? And then reducing the blood sugar. How do you test it? So when you do keto diet, what you're looking for is your body to go into a state of what's called ketosis, okay? So ketosis, ketones is one way your body uses energy, but the one we're most familiar with is what? Glucose, right? Sugar. Sugar or glucose is the way we mostly think of how we get energy, right? But your body actually really loves ketones. The only way you're going to get into a state of what's called ketosis is if you have a lot more ketones in your body. And to know if you have those ketones, you can test. Okay? This is the best right now in the market, way to test it. There are other testing tools out there. You can breathe into something that will tell you your ketones. There's saliva, there's urine, but this is a blood stick. So there's two different strips for this, one that tests your glucose levels and the other that tests your ketones. It's really important that when you do that, you can test your glucose levels and your ketones because you can't have them both up. You guys with me? You can't have glucose and ketones up. The body's going to utilize ketones or glucose. We want the glucose to be down and the ketones to be up. So that way we're in a state of what we call ketosis. Okay? The range of where you want to be, I would write this down. If you're going to test it, write this range down. The range where you want to be, where you know you're in ketosis, is you want to be in this 1.5 to 3.0 range. Okay? 1.5 to 3.0 range is where you want to be. If you start on this process where you're following the keto diet and you're tracking it, like we're going to teach you here in a minute, and you consume something that you've written down, that you've tracked, and one day you were at 2.5 and now you're back down to 0.5. If you're tracking it, you'll have a better understanding of what kicked you out of ketosis. You with me? So you got to track it to know what's kicking you out. But this is one of the best, knowing this range and then knowing when you test it whether you're in it or not. So the keto diet doesn't really matter. They don't really care, in general, keto across the board, what type of fat you're consuming. It's really about the percentages and if you've gotten into ketosis. You guys with me? Okay. Last point I want to hit. I just want to hit this one right here. A beautiful, beautiful thing when you start doing this is when you get into a state of called metabolic flexibility. If you have a vacation day, your body will get back into ketosis very quickly within a couple of days. If you've established this for long enough and you've seen ketosis for long enough, you've actually cut out the sugars for long enough, you've been doing it repeatedly day after day after day, what happens is when you have a vacation meal, you can get right back because of metabolic flexibility. Metabolic flexibility is a beautiful thing. This is where the symptoms are not there. This is where you're not feeling bad. Like, metabolic flexibility is a fantastic thing. So this is one thing that we really want to make sure we get into. So now I'm going to talk to you about the different types of ways to do keto and what's out there, okay? So can you see that both of those are fat? You guys see it? So keto diet is accurate if you're eating this way. Everybody's kind of shaking their head like, uh-oh. It's true, right? So what's wrong with the picture on the right? This is where you take something that could be a very beautiful thing and you end up with heart disease. Yeah? Can you see that? So I may be in ketosis, but I'm going to die of heart disease. I may be lighter, but I'm going to die. You guys with me? So we got to be really, really, I want you to do max living keto if you're going to do it. Yeah? Okay, so this is the clean versus dirty keto. Who's heard of dirty keto? Who's done dirty keto? Nobody. Yep, dirty keto, right? Can you lose weight doing dirty keto? You can, right? You die lighter. You can. Okay, so pork rinds, right? And the Burger King double cheeseburger is still fat. You're still in your macros. You guys with me? You're still in your macros. What I want you to do is I want you to get off your medications. I want you to heal from your disease. I want you to lose every pound that you shouldn't have on your body so that you can live life to the full. Whatever God called you to do, I don't want your disease or your dysfunction or your pain to keep you from doing what He called you to do. Amen? So this is going to keep you from it. Okay? So I just want you to be very, very careful when you start saying, I'm doing keto. I'm sitting down with people doing consults all the time. Listen, I'm not dumb. I know. I got 3 kids. I've learned to get smarter, right? So this piece, clean, lazy, and dirty, is another concept. So when we talk about net carbs, a lot of things we talk about with keto is looking at your net carbs. They will focus in on about 20 grams. That's going to be the net carbs per day, 20 net carbs, okay? That's the focus. I'm going to tell you what I want you to do, but I just want you to understand everything first, okay? So clean says 20 grams, but let's do it the clean way. No processed foods, no additives, no artificial sweeteners. You're going to limit the dairy only because the lactose has a high net carb, okay? And then you're going to maybe use an app to track your process, which I'll talk to you about an app in a minute. The lazy keto person says, I'm going to still stay around 20 carbs, but I might still use artificial sweeteners, and I might mix a little good and a little bad. That's the lazy keto. You with me? The dirty keto says, I don't care what it is, I'm eating whatever it is, and as long as it's got fat in it, I'm good. Okay? Getting dirty is going to get us dead, so let's be careful of that. Okay? Everybody good with the terms? Okay, now I want you to understand what net carbs are, okay? Net carbs, the way you figure out, because we said how many net carbs is the standard keto? 20, okay? So net carbs, what you want to look at is you want to look at your total carbs minus your dietary fiber and any sugar alcohol, so xylitol, erythritol, anything like that, that equals your total net carbs. Pay attention to your serving sizes. So if it says servings per container, like you've got to pay attention to those things so you can figure out what your total net carbs are per day. Okay? Everybody good with this? Is this helpful? Okay. Now this is the best app that I know of right now, and it's called Carb Manager. Rebecca, wave your hands. Where are you, Rebecca? Okay. Rebecca's been using this, and it's a fantastic app. If you are that person that likes to track and you like all the apps and all that, do it. I'm going to show you another way, and you can do both if you want to, okay? So this is a great app for that. Now notice you can see on there the little toolbar that shows 25 net carbs. You plug in how many net carbs you're going to set a goal of. And you can go like 20 to like 40, even up to 50 net carbs in one day, and maybe back up a little bit. You plug into the program what your macros are going to be and what your goals are. You can put your workouts in. And then you, for the first week setting it up on this app, you're going to do the little scanning of the barcode, and you're loading all your stuff in to the app. And then you'll notice like kind of where you are in the trends and everything on the app. So that's another way that you can actually do it. Now, are you guys freaking out? Are you okay? I just like gave you a whole lot of stuff. Okay, I got a little more. Can you hang in there? Okay, the only thing I want you to do right now, before I go into the next piece, because this next piece is really exciting, and I know you got kind of overwhelming. I want to actually, does anybody feel like that? You guys feel like that? Pull out your yellow sheet, and let's just take 1 minute. I need a little music, 1 minute. 1 minute, I want you to write down something under this, the nutrition SMART goal, okay? You ready? Everybody say this: information plus application equals transformation. Information plus application equals transformation. I know you've been overwhelmed. You guys are overwhelmed. We're actually going to walk you through a weight loss challenge, and I'm actually going to give you a step-by-step guide. Would you guys like a step-by-step guide? Like literally turnkey. So you don't really have to think a whole lot. You can literally plug and play and just do this, okay? This program, we actually got together and we said, people are frustrated. They feel like they start stuff and they stop and they're yo-yos and they're just kind of all over the place. What are the things that actually cause them to not win at trying these weight loss programs? And what we did was we put this program together, and this program actually answers all of those things that kind of get in the way, those things that kind of, keep you from, hinder your progress. That's exactly what this program is for. This weight loss challenge. We're going to actually go through that right now and unpack it a little bit for you. Inside, can I go through this with you guys? You guys good? I want to walk through all of this and like show you everything on the inside of it, okay? All right, you're fed, so you can do it. Just a minute, right? All right, inside, you're going to get what we call a keto meal guideline. Again, step by step, snacks, meals. You'll actually see the tips and the different meals that are on there. You're going to see little different ideas of what is a fat, what is a carb, what is a protein. Gives you pictures of it. I'm visual. I like things in pictures. And so that actually helps solve my issue when I'm going shopping, this particular piece. It actually breaks down your net carbs, and it gives you a blank slate in there where you can track yourself. So you have sample meals, exactly what the carbs, the macros, the proteins, the fats are, the sample snack ideas, all that totally turnkey, and a way to track your progress. Good? Okay, so that's the beginning. That's the first piece of it. So what you're getting is a keto meal guideline. Now what we also get is, Dr. Erb, can you please just take me to the grocery store and just tell me what to get? Anybody say that? Just tell me what to get. Tell me what not to get. Tell me what to eat. So we're going to actually have 2 times that we're going to take you guys shopping. We're going to go to Natural Grocers and we're going to go to Central Market. And we're going to take you shopping. We're going to show you the actual foods to get. We're going to show you how to do it on a budget. We're going to show you how to read actually the labels on there. That'll save your life right there, just learning how to read the labels. We're going to show you how to do all of that in a shopping class. You'll have to make sure that you sign up for these shopping classes. You can pick one of the 2 times to be able to do that. So far what you're getting in this weight loss program is a keto meal guideline and the healthy shopping master class. Now I want to tell you about Paul before I tell you about the rest of it. So Paul, he actually came and sat in one of these events 6 years ago. And his big why was not to lose weight. His big why was his daughter, Mackenzie. She was the only reason why he wanted to do anything about his health. So he actually started following and dove into this process because of Mackenzie. And so 6 years ago when he did this, in the first 90 days, he lost 65 pounds. 90 days. It's possible, y'all. Now, over 6 months of following the process, he lost 73 pounds. So he and his daughter did it together. He loses 73 pounds. The best part about this is 6 years later, he still weighs the same. Now, that's actually the concern a lot of people have, is they're like, well, if I do it, I'm just going to gain the weight back, right? This program needs to be something that you love. Can you love eating fat bombs every day? Right? I love it. This is going to be a program that you love. That's what we want for you guys, to have a program that you love. And if you can find a why, like Madine, you said you just wanted to have a better life. Isn't that what she said? Like, what is your why? You got to find a good why behind why you want to do this. So far, we've got the class, right? And we've got the keto meal guideline. Now I want to walk you through the keto bundle. This is exciting because this is today only. We just got this product. Like my staff is like, can I have one please? I'm like, nope, those are for the patients. Super exciting. So here's what we've got. The one thing that you want to be careful of, remember we said net carbs, right? So 20 to 40, 35 range of net carbs is really kind of where you want to be for the keto diet. The Pure Path is the best product for that because your net carbs, your carbs per portion is going to be 3. So that's one meal, 3. You've got 17 more, right? Yay. Fat bomb is like 0.8. So now, okay, we're all going to eat fat bombs every day. Okay, Pure Path, okay? So that's going to be one of the things in the keto bundle. The next thing is going to be a very exciting product called Metabolics Burn. It's got the adaptogenic herbs in it. It's got the appetite suppressant in it. And it's got the metabolism boosters. This is going to help reset those hormones. This is going to help you go into ketosis. This is going to help you to burn fat and let you be a fat melting machine, okay? So those 2 exciting products. Now, have you guys ever heard of keto flu? Keto flu. You've heard of keto flu. Keto flu, that's the common term used when you start to follow a program like the keto diet and you feel nauseous, headaches, and constipated. The electrolytes, the max keto electrolytes is the thing you take to help counter that, okay? Because as soon as you take away sugar and you increase the fat, your body's going to have a response to it, right? So the max keto electrolytes help you to keep you from the keto flu. And then the fidgety legs, Dr. David was saying, like the twitchy legs that you get at night, that's going to be also helpful for that as well too. Max Keto MCT oil, again, it's a fat. We're trying to stay in ketosis, so we need to increase our fats. A lot of times the struggle is not eating enough fat, right? So you want to make sure you're getting enough fat, and the MCT oil will help you to get enough fat in, okay? The last piece that I'm the super most excited about is the Max Keto Bar, which at the end of this, we're going to have little samples in the back for you to try. Oh my goodness. These are so good. Chocolate, again, chocolate. I like chocolate. So these are net carbs. These bars are net carbs too. And they don't taste like cardboard. They taste really good. So the Max Keto Bar, in fact, I feel like I'm going to test this. I'll tell you about it next time, but I feel like this could be a meal replacement. If you drink with 500 milliliters of water, this could be a meal replacement for you too. So the Max Keto Bar is something else that's part of the keto bundle. Exciting? Cool. Okay, so I'm really excited about this. So far what we've got on the weight loss program, Keto Meal Guidelines, Healthy Shopping Master Class, and the Fat Burning Supplement Bundle. The next piece in the program is this testing that we should do. Now I know we're resistant to it, but we really need to adopt the mentality that we measure what matters. You should probably write this down. Measure what matters. Okay? Measure what matters. A few years ago, we actually invested $5,000 in this machine. This Tanita machine. This machine is phenomenal. It tests your full body composition. It's better than the underwater thing that they do. If you've heard of the underwater it's better than that, okay? And what this does is it actually tests your muscle mass, your hydration, your body fat percentage, and the awesome part about it is it'll test your left arm and your right arm, your left leg and your right leg, and your trunk. And here's what we can find. You can see where you actually tend to lose weight faster, where you're moving muscle, where you're putting muscle on faster. Based upon how you track yourself, you can actually see, oh, you know what? Looks like I've only been doing chest and buys. I'm not doing anything with my legs. So when you exercise and you're doing muscle work on your resistance training on your body, you can see where you're putting muscle on. This is good. You can see where you're putting fat. And also, for those of you who get discouraged when you lose 10 pounds and you're like, man, I only lost 10 pounds. But you're actually putting on muscle. So it keeps you from being discouraged when you're not losing the weight as fast as you want, but you're actually putting on muscle. And if you put on muscle, it's going to help speed your metabolism and help burn off that fat, right? So this is very important. We're including a pre and post Tanita scan, okay? So when you start and you get your whole weight loss program today, what you've got is you've actually got the Keto Meal Guideline, Healthy Shopping Master Class, the Fat Burning Supplement Bundle, and your pre and post Tanita scans. The last piece, this private Facebook group. If you are not on Facebook, get on Facebook and only do this, okay? This is Erb Family Friends. When you go to Erb Family Friends, one of the things you're going to find there is you're going to find community. You ever follow a program and everyone at home and all your friends are not doing that program and you feel super discouraged? And many times you just kind of doesn't work for you, right? Anytime you try to do something and you do it by yourself, the majority of time is not going to go well, okay? So what you're going to find here is you're going to find community. You're going to find a group of like-minded people all doing the exact same thing, moving in the same direction. You're going to find people posting questions you didn't even know you had. The answers to the questions you didn't know you had. You're going to find success stories. We're going to be posting it every day. So you're going to have content posted in there every day, workouts, meals, strategies, encouragement. This is where you get your encouragement and you stay connected. Erb Family Friends. So if you go on your phone and you go into Facebook, just type up Erb Family Friends, what you'll find is there's 3 questions you need to answer. That's for protection, to make sure that it's everybody that's in the group is really everybody that's in the group, okay? So you answer the questions, and that way only people that are in this group are in the group. We don't have people that are not part of it. It's just a private group, okay? So again, this is going to give us the accountability that we need. This is going to be giving us the encouragement and content every day for the next 30 days, okay? Everybody good? Okay. So the next thing you have is, again, so what we've got is the Keto Meal Guidelines, Healthy Shopping Master Class, Fat Burning Supplement Bundle, pre and post Tanita scans, New Beginnings private Facebook group. Now, before I tell you the rest of it, I want to tell you about Maria. How many of you have been like Maria, where you've tried a lot of things, you've gone to a lot of nutritionists, you've got all these functional people, and nothing ever works? Anybody? Anybody feel like that? So this is Maria. That's exactly what happened to her. Maria came in and sat in one of these classes 1 year ago, and she did the exact same thing that we're teaching about today. She followed the program. She didn't do it perfect. She actually made a few bumps along the way. And she made a couple, had a few vacation meals along the way. She didn't do it perfect. But what she did was she stayed consistent. And if you stay consistent, pretty soon, if you have one good day that you win, and you actually stick together seven really good win days, you got a week. And if you can string another week together and another week together, you got a month. And after a month, you got 6 months in a year. And if you can string enough years together, you can win your life. And that's what she did. She actually did this program. She lost 70 pounds. And not only did she lose the 70 pounds, she actually reversed her type 2 diabetes. She's off metformin. Who would like to be off metformin, right? She's off metformin. She eliminated her high blood pressure, so she's off lisinopril. And she reversed her Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which she was told, autoimmune, you'll never get over it. She reversed it. No longer has Hashimoto's. In fact, we had another case last week, off completely, no longer has Hashimoto's. So this is what she did. This is what this is all about. So this is what Maria, how many of you like to be a Maria? Yeah?
I want to let my nerd run a little bit. So here we go. I want you to say this word with me. Say it. Wow. That was good and bad. Really bad, actually, probably. Biopsychology. Now, psychology is the study of what? Behavior, right? Bio is what? Biology, anatomy, things like this. So it's the study of how your anatomy, what's going on in your body affects your behavior. Specifically, right now, we're talking about your brain. A huge part of you guys being successful is having a brain that is healthy, that allows you to feel hope, to be energetic, to want to have momentum, to be able to get up with energy, to get through this thing, to push uphill. You have to have a grassroots internal physiology, and I do mean physiology at this point, physiology internal to be able to do that. Does it make sense? In 1986, a guy named Roger Sperry won a Nobel Prize, and he won a Nobel Prize for showing that your brain is a battery, literally an electric charge-keeping organ. Is that cool? Like literally, this thing accepts a charge like a Tesla car. You charge it up, and then it uses that charge to run you, to heal cuts, to have your heart beat, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And guess what? Guess what charges your brain? So movement, like a windmill. You seen these windmills that actually produce electricity? So your body moving is actually charging your battery. That's cool, except for the fact that you're the coolest Tesla ever on the planet Earth, and some of you guys have stopped charging your batteries, and you wonder why you're depressed. You wonder why you can't get up. You wonder why emotionally you can't get over the hump. You're wondering why. And guess what? I'm going to tell you that you have to charge the battery. Got it? So how do you charge the battery? If I do this and I lift a weight, I charge the battery. However, how much movement I get in my arms and legs is nothing compared to the movement of my spine. And what he actually found was that 95% of the charge actually comes from the spine. It is so dense with receptors for movement and position that when those fire, it actually creates an electrical charge. It fires the brain up, it accepts the charge, and it charges it like it's plugged in. Got it? The problem that he found was, he goes, he's not a chiropractor, he's not a functional medicine guy. What he said was, the more posturally distorted you are, what's that sound like? Chiropractic? The more subluxation, the more posturally distorted you are, head forward, high shoulder, slumping, the more posturally distorted you are, the less the spine actually charges your brain. Now that's a huge point. Now what I started off with biopsychology. So how does the brain affect your behavior? Because if your mechanism for charging your brain, which is also your emotions, your will, your willpower, all these, your ability to hope, guess what? If you're posturally distorted from what he said, you're not charging the battery. You get that? Some of you guys you've never been able to put your finger on the reason why you've not been over the hump. And I can tell you, this is huge. In fact, this is the game changer. Got it? So where does that look at? So this is again, I want to run my nerd here, but this is probably one of, other than the gospel and a book with leather cover on it, this changed my life. These two things. This right here, from a kid that was on his way to medical school, seeing this the first time changed my entire life. Looking at your spine and your nerve system like a breaker box at your house is absolutely far from the realm of the things I was thinking about. And then when you start breaking it down, it's almost so simple. Isn't it simple? Like you go, okay, so this right here goes to my optic nerves, my auditory nerves, my sinuses. Was that crazy to see a woman who was deaf for 67 years at dinner? Some of you guys were at dinner. 67 years she got her hearing back. Is that crazy? Why? Because of this exact spot. And you start looking at, this spot goes there and this spot goes there. There was a girl in the office who literally was going to the bathroom 30 times a day, her bowel movement 30 times a day. She'd been down to 72 pounds, 80 pounds, something like this. And then as soon as she starts getting adjusted, guess what? Starts to reverse it. Because it literally your nerve supply goes to things. So it's a two-way street. Everybody say two-way. It goes from the brain down, but it goes from the body what? Up. It's a two-way street. So crazy. And if you get this, you will evangelize this. You will preach it. You will teach it. You'll make sure everybody knows it. You'll get excited about it, and you'll apply it to who? Yourself, exactly. This is how we do it. I get the gift. Let me tell you something. It is a gift. Someone said, hey, you're doing a lot of work today. She said, más trabajo or something. I don't speak Spanish. I pretend all the time. But she said, mucho trabajo. I was like, man, I feel like I retired the day I came to work here. Like, I love this. Like, I get to sit and go through the cause. Some of you guys, raise your hand if you're a patient in the office. Just raise your hand like this. Some of you guys have come in, and I got the joy of sitting down with you. And for the first time, you guys looked at x-rays and you were like, wow, that makes sense, right? You guys sat down and was like, man, that makes sense. And then we started the process of correcting. You're like, wow, man, that makes sense. And then as soon as it makes sense, what do? You start asking one question. This is so crazy. Why what? Why didn't I know about this sooner, and why doesn't everybody talking about this? It is that important. The crazy part is it's just this simple. There's a spine inside of you that has a nerve supply. It's two-way street, right? It comes from above down and from down up, okay? But when it looks like this, and there is a part of this that's got a bone that's moved, we call that subluxation. Got it? Now, I'm telling you this for a reason. The next 30 days, you're going to set a goal for yourself that you are maximizing your nervous system. Got it? Now, I didn't just say just get adjusted. I mean, you're maximizing it. I love that Zoe got up here. I'm so proud of my daughter for being transparent. And for just so you guys know, it's transparency for our family. Like, everybody thinks that the Erbs do everything perfect. Well, come to my house. You'll quickly understand that's not the case. But so Zoe would tell you she was doing rehab, and she was doing some rehab. But guess what? She wasn't. She wasn't doing it what? At a high level. She'll tell you right now, she's doing something now at a level that cannot even be compared to what she was doing before. And guess why she's getting results in a large part? Because her brain is what? It's firing up. It's charging. And guess how she feels about the day? Guess what? When your brain's working great, music sounds better. When your brain works great, food tastes better. When your brain's feeling great, your pillow feels better at night and you sleep better. Right? I'm just telling you, it's just amazing. And this, when this becomes this, now we've got a problem. But the problem with it is most people, raise your hand if you've told somebody about this revelation already. So you came in as a patient and you're so excited you went and told somebody and then it went, meow, meow, meow. Anybody? Oh yeah. Welcome to my world. The water's fine. You're going to be good. The point is the reason that is because most people judge their health how? How they feel. And as a result of that, most people don't do something until what? Till they hurt or they feel like they have something. Got it? And I want to walk through this. So we had a guy come in the office. He was 100 and something pounds overweight. And he didn't have any symptoms. And I want to walk through this because this is so powerful. All of us judge our health by how we feel, how we look, or what our doctor said. That's just what we're taught, right? So it's either luck or whatever. However, guess what? Health is not those things. Health is how you function. Yes or no? So if I'm functioning 100%, would you want that too? But how do I know if I'm functioning 100%? By how I feel? No, I feel pretty good. But can you feel good and have cancer? If you have cancer, are you functioning well? No. So you don't know if you're functioning well based on how you feel. Got it? Same thing with heart disease or diabetes or whatever else. But what you want is 100% function, yes or no? What's 0% function? Dead, disease, whatever. It's actually 0 is you're no longer here. There's no breath coming out of you with a mirror. You're gone. But here's the thing. When do you get your first feeling that there's a problem? So you can actually feel the acid reflux or the back pain or the headaches or whatever else, the thyroid issues, the blood pressure mess. This is what research shows us. You got to be down to 60% function, lose 40% function before you'll ever what? Feel it. And listen to me, what are we all taught to do? You go to your medical doctor and get what? You get a medication. And as soon as you get a medication, here's the problem. Can you feel better taking a med? Come on. You want to say no, but the answer is what? Yes. And here's the thing. But maybe I just keep taking the drug and it just keeps my blood pressure down, right? Everybody look at me. This may be the most important turning point for your life if you'll get this. The problem that you think is the problem is not the problem. Your headache is not the problem. Your blood pressure, it's not the problem. Your diabetes is not the problem. The problem you think you have is the expression of the real problem. And if you don't fix the real problem, guess what happens to your ability to function? It gets what? This is why you never see somebody that just takes one medication, stay on one med. And not to mention, every drug has what? Side effects, right? So then watch this. I'm going to be your loving doctor. I'm not against medical doctors at all, but I'm going to just help you because that's what you want really. You just want, I don't want to change my diet. I don't want to work. I don't want to wake up earlier, read my Bible and journal. I don't want to work out like him and I like my sleep. Just give me something. I'm in a hurry. I'm busy in my life, so just give me the med. But what happens? Which way did I just guarantee you to go here? Yeah, so now I get more symptoms. But if you guys stay in the current system, if you do what everybody else does, then the problem is not to fix the cause. The problem is the expression of the problem. So the headaches are the problem. So as I get worse and I get diabetes from the cholesterol drug, or I get fatigue and heart issues from the blood pressure medication, then guess what? That's okay, because what can they do? Put you on more meds. And what ends up happening is some of you guys have come to the office and you start getting adjusted, start doing the 5 essentials. Some of you guys will lose a little weight. Some of you guys will lose a lot of weight. Some of you guys will start feeling better. And the problem in your mind was the weight. The problem in your mind was the symptom. And if that goes away, guess what happens to the patient oftentimes? They go away. And then what happens is you trail down the road a little bit and you turn around, and what happens? You actually have someone go, you know what? Man, I'm not feeling good again, because what comes back? The expression of the problem, which is the symptom, and people go, you know what? When I felt the best, when I was sleeping, when I was off medications, I was getting adjusted, and I was doing the 5 essentials, and I was doing that keto diet. So guess what they do? They come back around again, and they start doing all this stuff, and guess what? They feel better. And guess what ends up happening? They leave again. And after doing this for 23 years, guess what? Some patients are like, on a rotating door at the office. And you know what it's like? It's like the prodigal son. Raise your hand if you've ever come to the office and you thought that I was waiting just for you. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Oh, come on. Just so you know, I have felt like that about each and every one of you. But here's the thing. I don't want you to chase symptoms anymore. I don't want you to chase symptoms on your weight. I don't want you to chase symptoms with your health. I don't want you to chase symptoms. Do you know why? Because if you chase symptoms, guess where you're going to at least stay, at the very least? 60%. Do you want almost half of what God gave you, or do you want the whole thing? So how do you get the whole thing? I can tell you how you get it. I'm going to tell, this is the story of the guy I told you about. So this guy comes in. He's heavy, yes? First of all, to give us a picture of you without a shirt on in your fishing boat is pretty good. But he comes in. Now, first of all, he's done a lot of stuff. And because he's done a lot of stuff that has not worked, or he lost 10 pounds and he gained it back. He lost 15, he gained it back. He only lost 3 and then he quit. If you do this long enough, what happens here? You got heart damage, metaphorically. And we need to bind those wounds up today. And how do we do that? Let me show you some results. So this guy comes in the office and nobody checked his foundation. Nobody checked to see if his brain was activating, getting charged up. And so we checked both sides. So we looked at his neck. We looked at his neck. Don't look at that first picture here so fast. But this right here, what's wrong with it? It should have a curve in it. And it's straight. If I straighten your spinal cord out, it gets longer. And so what happens to it? It has to what? Stretch. Everybody say stretch. If I stretch out the electrical system going to your organs, what happens to the function? It shuts down. It shuts down into organs. But most importantly, we don't even talk about it enough. What happens to the charge on the battery? It doesn't charge. So the guy's, he doesn't want to get up anymore. His wife said, can you call him? The only reason he came into the office is because we called him and he said, well, what the heck? One more time. And actually, I think he started just to prove us wrong. But guess what he got? Just like you guys that are patients, he got someone to love him unconditionally. When he lost a pound, guess what we did? If I had doves, I would throw live doves. Like, excited, encouraging. And guess what? When he fell down, guess what we didn't do? Kick him, right? Guess who your worst critic is? I don't need to criticize you guys. You're already criticizing yourself. I mean, you cut yourself deep. Stop it. So guess what? He started getting the right adjustments. And here's the thing. Had he seen chiropractors before? Yes. And guess what he got? No x-rays, cracking on your neck, some, penny ante, absolute wasteful, ridiculous joke of manipulation called chiropractic that's not chiropractic. Someone grabs your spine and twists it, that's not a chiropractor. Just because I can go, that doesn't mean that was a chiropractic adjustment, okay? So he comes in, and yes, guess what he got? He got all 5 essentials, and he started doing exactly what we're talking here. And this is him over 100 pounds less. And what has he got on his face? He got a smile. Listen, he didn't just get a smile because he lost weight. I've seen people who lost weight who are the most curmudgeous, grumpy, negative, penny ante people I would never want to be around. But the reason that he's got a smile on his face is because he's got hope, He's in a group of people who love him, and he sees a future for himself that he always wanted. Who wants that? Got it? So how do we get there? So I want to encourage you. I want to drive this into the heart. I want to drive this into the core. Can I do that? So I'm going to bring two people up. Where's my crew at? Yeah, Denise, Lisa B, come here. Come on up here. This is going to be good. Watch it. You guys don't have to like hit the high step. I love it. Good. All right, so let me get this mic here. I don't think it's on. There we go. All right, so I want to encourage you. So I want you to hear this, but I don't want you to hear, she came in, she wasn't doing good, now she is doing good. What I want you to feel in your heart is I want you to put yourself in the shoes of this person. You got that? So watch this. So you came in. Tell us what was going on when you first came in.
Well, first of all, I came to you as a second opinion.
Third or fourth?
Really third.
Yeah,
really
exactly.
third opinion. But the first doctor told me that after looking at my MRI and my X-ray, that there was no way he was going to touch me because I needed immediate surgery. My herniated disc was not repairable through chiropractic.
Okay, so now, so she's talking about her discs in her low back. Now, some of you guys go, well, I had a low back disc. Oh, no, I had a low back thing. Or my neighbor has that. Okay, so great, and we're going to fix you or your neighbor or whatever else. But I'm telling you this one because this is not just my back hurt. So tell us what's going on with your leg.
I literally thought that my right leg was dying, like completely from my right cheek all the way to my toes. Couldn't feel hardly anything, especially from my lower, the shin, all the way to my foot, completely numb. Everything from here to my knees, excruciating pain. Every single morning I wake up literally crying. Okay. Not like, oh, I'm hurt, no, crying tears.
Yeah, so she came in, guys, she was dragging her leg, and she was on crutches. She was dragging it. It literally was dead. In fact, I think that we talked one time, the guy said, if we don't do surgery soon, you're going to lose your leg. Right? So there's no nerve supply. Like a tooth, you damage the nerve, the tooth dies. Same thing with a leg. So she said there was nothing they could do. Then she went to a chiropractor. What did the chiropractor say?
The chiropractor is the one that said, I'm not touching you.
Yeah.
You need to go to a surgeon.
Yeah, so then she comes into me, and tell them what's different in the office.
First of all, he gave me hope. He told me immediately, no, we're declaring healing in the name of Jesus. I'm like, first of all, this man don't even know that I have faith in Jesus. He immediately goes to, you have faith in, we're going to believe in the name of Jesus that you're healed. And we're going to speak to the mind that you're going to have that hope in yourself, that you're going to start walking. You're not going to have surgery. And I'm like, okay, God. Thank you.
Yeah. I'm just going to leave that.
But no, seriously, when I said that this man gave me hope, the first doctor, like he said, it's like he spoke that doubt into me. He spoke like, your leg is gonna die, your foot is gonna die. And I'm like, what do I do from that? Where do I go from here? Yeah, so listening to this man of God has really changed my life. I mean, he's given me hope internally, but he's also helped me externally by adjusting me, by, giving me the key thing, the key essentials that I need to do to take care of myself. And I appreciate God for you.
So what happened after we started this process?
Literally, I would say maybe barely 2 weeks after you adjusted me, first of all, I could not sit down. I could not stand up. It hurt any position that I was in. Going to him after 2 weeks, I was able to sit down. I actually went back to work. And I was able to start moving my foot. As you all can see, like you said, I was dragging it. I can now do this. I'm not 100%.
Come on.
But I can do this. He wanted me to moonwalk. I can't moonwalk yet, but I'm going there. I'm
That's
almost
awesome.
there.
Come on, everybody. Give her an applause. All right. That's good. Thank you, Lisa B. So Denise came in how long ago?
November.
So she comes in because she's always seen chiropractors. Her daughter's a patient. So she thinks, hey, I'm going to start it at the chiropractic office. Comes in, gets checked. But something happened when you were 5. You fell off a slide.
Right. I fell off a slide on my head, had a concussion, and was in the hospital a week. And lost my hearing.
Lost her hearing in her right ear when she was 5 years old. Now, she has seen chiropractors her whole life. Got it? So she's getting adjusted. Can I get a nod that you know what I'm talking about? So she's getting adjusted. She comes into our office. What was different about our office?
The hope that she mentioned, first of all, I felt loved, I felt cared for, but you did x-rays. Nobody had ever done x-rays before.
First of all, can I just say this? Don't touch my nervous system that is the most precious part of my body unless you know don't guess, okay? Don't guess. So she got exactly an adjustment for her. Now, she's given me permission to give her testimony, so I can tell you this. But her spine has an angle in it on one side specific. So if I just adjust her both sides, guess what's going to happen? Nothing. She may have better range of motion or maybe feel a little better, but as soon as she gets exactly what she needs, what happens? So the first, you started coming in.
I was amazed. I began to get the hearing back in my ear.
After 67 years. Now something happened after that. You were at a restaurant and you actually heard a man. So first of all, if you can only hear out of one ear, it's mono, it's not stereo, so you can't triangulate where something's coming from. You just hear a noise, but you don't know where it's coming from. Does it make sense? That's how your brain works. So as soon as she can start hearing out of her right ear, all of a sudden, can you imagine what your brain does after 67 years? So she's in a restaurant and she...
Told my age.
No.
46 years.
It's okay, I'm aging backwards.
It's exactly right. So how did it, I just want to know, I want you to tell, I need them to feel this. Like, how did it feel to be in a restaurant and for the first time be able to hear somebody and look behind you to see where they were?
I nearly cried because I'd never heard that before. I looked and there was a man in the next booth with his wife, or a lady, and I thought to myself, I've never heard a person in the wrong side of my booth before. And I was so overwhelmed, so thankful. And I know God sent me to these people because he knew I had prayed for all these years for my hearing to come back, and it's coming back. And
Amen.
I'm so thankful.
Amen. I love you. Round of applause. Come on. Thank you, Denise. Listen to me. Don't you tell me you're too old. Don't you tell me it's too late. Don't you tell me it's too far gone. Don't you tell me you've had too many years in the wrong direction. You cannot tell me that. Because if you tell me that, guess what? I'm a dangerous man when it comes to hope. I won't let go. I will still adjust you until you breathe your last breath. I will go to the hospital. I'll go to your house. I'm that guy. In fact, I'm a dangerous man to my own license for the state of Texas. Don't record that part. But the point is, I will never give up. And the reason that's so important is, guess what? Because I'm an infectious agent of hope. And I am that way because I want you to be that way. So when we leave this room, you get around people, and if you believe more for yourself, you automatically free people up to have their victories of their own. Does that make sense? I want you to be healthy today. I want you to be victorious today. But I want you to be healthy and victorious, not just so you can have a great life, so that you walk out there and people go, well, dang, what am I waiting for? Does it make sense? So listen, how do we do that? It's very simple. You have to be in a place that's going to take care of you. You have to be in a place that's going to actually walk you through what needs to be done. I don't know why this is not working. I probably burned it out because I was yelling. Zach, you want to fast forward that one? Just go to the next one. This happened because his body at a foundation level got corrected. Not because someone cracked him, not because somebody popped his neck, because somebody walked him through and loved him and gave him a neck the way that God designed it without stretching, damaging pressure on a nerve supply, and he literally changed his life with the 5 essentials. Can I get an amen? Right? So how does this process start? It's not hard. It's very, very easy. You have to, though, look at the warning signs. Guests in the room, my guests. First of all, raise your hand. Just trust me. It's a safe room. I won't yell. Guests, just raise your hand if you're a guest. If you're a guest, just raise it up. Let me tell you, if you have symptoms, first of all, symptoms aren't just symptoms a lot of times. The majority of times, they're a warning sign. And the reason that's important is if it's just something that people have commonly, then it doesn't raise an alarm. It doesn't raise an alert. And the problem with that is it lulls you to sleep. Listen, this is patients and guests. Raise your hand if you've ever had a symptom and you just kind of let it go and you just kind of lived with it, right? All of us and me included. That is a dangerous thing. You would never do that on your car. So we need you to take a step because you have to lose how much function in a tissue, cell, or organ before you ever feel it. Yeah, lose 40 and be almost at half, be at 60%. So my guests in the room, whether you have any symptoms or not, guess what I'm going to tell you need to do? Get what checked first? The spine and nervous system, the charging mechanism on your Tesla that you're driving your spirit in. Does it make sense? Right, so that's the first thing. But what is the questions everybody has? Everybody has the questions. So what does this look like? The first step, let me go here. I love that picture though. The first step. You know what the first step is? Come in. That's the first step. Do you know how hard that is? Do you know what the number one reason people don't walk into my office as a new patient? Because I already tried what? I already tried everything and it didn't work, or I already tried going to the what? The chiropractor. 90% of chiropractic right now does not perform and practice chiropractic. 90% of chiropractors, they pop, crack, manipulate, and then try and take your insurance and make you feel better. I don't know about you, but I don't want somebody popping or cracking on me. I want somebody to remove the interference to that God-given potential so I reach my maximum God-given life. Does it make sense? So how do we do that? You find a place to love you. You find a place to take care of you. You find a place to give you what you need, not what the next three people are going to be laying down on a table need, so everybody gets the same thing. You need what you need. And you need a place that's going to take care of the things outside of the office. So if you're a patient, guess what you should be doing at home? Your home care, which is specific for who? You have patients, you have a sheet at home that says home exercise program. And guess whose name is on it? Yours. And it's filled out specifically for who? For you, for Dora, for you, exactly. And what do I always tell you? Don't do anybody else's what? Home care. So wives, why? Because it's tailor-made for you. Can I just get an amen for somebody getting something for me? Not the world, and you know what? That's the way God loves you. He doesn't love you like he just loves everybody. He's got your picture in his wallet, and when he wakes up this morning, he's going to pick that out and go, man, I love him, I love her. So when it comes to your care, that's the way it should be too. Can I get an amen? And I'm going to pray over you, and this is officially the beginning of your makeover.
Yes, February 8th.
So wherever you're at, just hear me out. So Father, we love you and praise you and thank you for this day. We thank you, God, that you are greater than any of our inconsistencies, that you love us past and above all of our mistakes, that we literally are moving out with expectancy that we're going to see miracles in our physical lives, our emotional lives, and spiritual lives as we spend the next 30 days believing more, hoping more, and seeing more. So not only do we get physical changes, but we're an infectious agent of hope to the world around us. And God, I ask a blessing on every single person, that there is nothing that they're going to encounter that they can't work the system, invest the time, and problem solve along the way. And that they would reach out and we would help one another as we go. And as a result of that, that we see changes that we have never got the joy of seeing yet. And God, I just ask, as we leave this place, that everything is filled out, that all the cars start, that we have an amazing weekend in peace and in joy. And as we walk out, and the guests, Father, that are here, that they get an amazing start to a journey that literally is going to change their and their family's life. So God, we love you and praise you. Thank you for everyone being here. Thank you for a team that worked hard. Thank you for my AV guys that are always working behind the scenes. Thank you, Father, for the Great Wolf Lodge helping us and missioning with us to do an event that would change our town. So we love you. We praise you. Ask all these things in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Amen. All right, guys.
Love you guys.
Have a great
Bless ya.
weekend.